What do you think is the most urgent cyber threat that the Philippines is facing right now?
Yung fake news. It plays with the mind. You have to take into consideration the emotions behind. So usually the attacks are appeal to emotions.
Hello and welcome to Thoughts on Tech, powered by Eastern Communications. I'm Justin Quirino, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be your host for this podcast series. As the title suggests, all about tech. Now, today, we're going to be exploring the world of ICT solutions, highlighting their impact, uncovering success stories, and learning from industry leaders who are driving change today. And we're joined by a distinguished officer in the Philippine Army's Signal Corps with nearly 3 decades of service, and she's the first female spokesperson for the Armed Forces of the Philippines in its more than 88-year history, a role that she assumed in January 2024. A certified ethical hacker and an expert in cybersecurity and communications, Colonel Padilla. Hi, Colonel Padilla.
Hi, Justin. Thank you for having us here.
Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for not hacking into any of my accounts right now. No, joke lang.
You're not sure.
You're not sure, no. No, Colonel, first of all, again, thank you so much for being here. You're the first Filipina spokesperson for the AFP. Now, what first drew you into the world of technology and ethical hacking?
Well, basically, I started my career joining the Army in the Signal Corps. So Signal Corps, when we began, was CEIS, so Communications, Electronics, Information Systems. And then it evolved to C4S, so Command, Control, Communications, and Cyber. So as the technology also evolves, so does our unit, so to speak. So how do we counter contemporary modern challenges, especially in technology? And since technology is ever evolving, we should also be at par, if not one step ahead, in order for us to be able to secure our cyberspace, so to speak.
Is it more difficult to be one step ahead of technology nowadays?
Of course, because you can't really tell what's going to happen. So now, looking at cybersecurity in general, now we have so much buzzwords right now. We have AI, we have blockchain, you have quantum computing. So there's a lot. So you really have to up your game.
It seems like cybersecurity, especially in the military sense, would be the most important because you can control everything else, or you can disrupt signals, you could disrupt commands, give false commands, etc. Using cyber. Would you say that that's accurate?
Could be. In the Signal Corps, what we say is that we do not claim to have won any war in the Signal Corps, but there is no war that was won without the Signal Corps. So if you look at it, communications is really something that is very crucial in anything, to be able to have command and control, because if you have information firsthand, there's also speedy decision making. So it varies, napakalawak ng C4S, so from communications delving to cyber. And yung cyber kasi, the security of it is very, very much complicated, in a sense that cyber has no barriers. So you cannot really say, hey, you're intruding to the Philippine cyberspace. There's no such thing. Yeah.
How do you use AI to leverage for defense naman?
You can marry AI with cybersecurity. What comes to mind with the people is that's ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But that's really not really the case. AI is everywhere. It's in health. It's in all the systems, basically. So with all of that, we also need to look at the possibility of countering attacks that are being done using artificial intelligence. Of course, with AI now, wala pa kasing batas anywhere in the world to govern AI. So we are looking at
Wild West ngayon. Medyo.
Yes, so you have to have ethical implications. There's a lot of ethical implications to it. There's also bias to it. So groups are now coming up to address ethical implications and, of course, bias in AI.
Would it be okay to ask that question, Colonel? Na for an example, what is a very simple cyber attack, and what is a very simple cyber defense, both AI attack and AI defense? Could you give me an example of both?
Now, ang pinaka proliferating is the spread of fake news.
Okay.
So AI now is being used as botnets to proliferate fake news. So how do you counter that? So you can leverage on an AI that would try to detect, say, certain keywords, or a botnet trying to, put so much information out there from different accounts but the same message. So we can use that to identify, say, patterns, something to that effect. So that's simple, but it has a very large effect kasi malawak yung scope niya, no? And now, because of that, hindi na lang siya information domain eh. It's cognitive domain. It's shaping how we perceive the things around us. So kung titignan mo sa cyber domain ng Philippines, parang ang gulo-gulo natin, no? If you're outside the Philippines, our OFWs think ang gulo-gulo naman dyan sa Pilipinas, nagkakagulo kayo. But the reality is, we're generally peaceful. There might be some rallies here and there, but they're peaceful rallies. You know, and we're actually here having our podcast. But sa mata ng labas, there's an implication to it because they say some countries would give travel warnings, and what do we lose? Economic implications such as tourism. Also, those who would want to come to the Philippines and invest, they would think twice. So malaki yung implication niya, considering that it is just say fake news, disinformation, misinformation, and malinformation, but the implications could really be huge for a country.
Diba? As the first female spokesperson of the AFP, you literally made history, Colonel. Can you bring us back to that moment? The fact that you were the very first, nakaka-pressure ba yan? The first moment when you found out that you got the role and you're going to take on this responsibility, how did you feel?
First, it was an honor, but it was a very humbling experience, and of course, the pressure was really there. No, being the first in 88 years, of course, there will be some talks here and there that they say that's the armed forces. It's supposed to be a male voice because it's national security. So you talk about conflicts and war and all of those things. No, so really, it was a Herculean task on my shoulders that I have to prove myself worthy of that. So every time a survey comes up, there's jitters, no? Na have I been able to, give the voice and the message of the Armed Forces of the Philippines to the Filipino people, those things. And of course, yung pangarap ng mga susunod na henerasyon ng mga kababaihan na sasabihin, pwede rin pala akong maging ganyan. So pag ako hindi tumagal or di ba? Parang wala yan na, di ba? So parang make or break it for all the other females who would really want to be on the same boat. So yun talaga yung pinaka-pressure for me to begin with. And then the surveys came out, and we're really very thankful because the Armed Forces of the Philippines garnered such a high rating. No, we got 8 out of 10 Filipinos trust the AFP, and 7 out of 10 Filipinos are willing to fight with the AFP.
Wow.
So somewhere along the way, then we must have done something good.
Wow. And speaking of your legacy, you created Cyber for Peace. Could you tell us what inspired this, and can you tell us more about Cyber for Peace?
Well, basically, I started my career in the Army as a signal officer. So, moving forward, I transitioned from a programmer. So, dati, chief ng Information Systems Development. So, from research to Information Systems Development. And then I transitioned to working for the Presidential Security Group. So, physical security naman ito, no? And then, change of administration, I now transitioned to cybersecurity. And then, na-detail ako sa Office of the Presidential Advisor on the peace process. So I wanted to marry that tech background of mine to the peace process. So parang that I found the nexus, yung eureka moment ko na, that I found the nexus between development and technology, that you can leverage on technology for development. And kung titingnan mo kasi, if I tell you about cyber, what comes to mind? It's very negative, di ba? Hacking, spamming. Yun ang tingin ng tao pag sinabi mong cyber. So I wanted to positivize cyber, that there is a positive thing to it because cyber gives you a lot of data. So nakakapag-research ka doon. You also use the cyber domain to contact family and friends that you haven't seen for so long with the applications that are there. So marami din positive siya, pero natatabunan siya ng negative side, no? So yun yung goal nito. Basically, Cyber for Peace is technology for development. So when I was a battalion commander, ito yung pinaka-advocacy ko. So I partnered with universities in the area. We can take you in, join us in our battalion. We are into tech. So we teach you programming, tuturuan namin kayo troubleshooting and all, no? Yung OJT nila ng mga estudyante natin ng IT, we take them in sa camps. And over and above that, we also partnered with local leaders. So yun, gumagawa kami ng hygiene trainings. We also go to the far-flung areas. Usually kasi, ang mga sundalo natin, we go to the far-flung areas and then medical mission, dental mission, di ba? So parang kami, sa signals kami, hindi lang naman kami pang kampo. No, hindi kami mag-install lang ng CCTV or repair computers sa camp. We wanted to be felt by the taong bayan. So that's the Cyber for Peace. So nandun kami, pupunta kami sa far-flung areas na walang access to to repair centers. And yung mga tropa ko, sila yung nagre-repair ng mga gadgets ng mga kabataan sa malalayong lugar. Kasi 'di ba online learning na. So pag nasira yung gadgets nila, hindi sila makapasok online, 'di ba? So parang yun yung mga nakikita namin na in small ways we can also do a big impact.
And on these communities you mentioned earlier on, what about for ordinary citizens or students who want to be part of Cyber for Peace? Pwede ba? Or do we need to wait for an outreach from you guys? Or can we approach you and be part of Cyber for Peace?
Yes, anybody can be part of it. So, ang sabi ko, it's technology for development. So, anything that they need tech-wise, no? Kasi it's as simple as hindi kasi lahat cybersecurity agad eh. Because there are areas that wala man lang kuryente. So, if we deploy, say, solar panels, that's technology for development, no?
Yes.
So, pinailawan mo yung lugar, that's really a big help na rin. So, ganun siya. And we're also, pinapalaki namin itong grupong ito. So, meron nang sumama sa amin na from DepEd, they call themselves Education for Peace. No? So, nagpunta kami sa Bulacan, DRT. So, yun yung nila, pwede silang mag-storytelling to tell them about things that are happening around us, no, sa bansa natin. Also for yung West Philippine Sea issue, no, to cascade it, all of those things, no, with the geopolitical tensions that we have. And iba-iba. So meron tayong Lawyers for Peace, no. These are group of lawyers na meron na rin silang table doon. With us, with the Cyber for Peace, sila nandun. They give free legal advice. So lumalawak siya. And mayroon na rin tayong international reach, no, with the ASEAN IPR na ni-launch natin yung Cyber Heroes. Etong Cyber Heroes is a group of cyber enthusiasts willing to give free hygiene training and anything to that, and meron kaming youth component to it then.
So Colonel, in an age of disinformation right now and online manipulation, hacking and all these things, what's the first thing that we should do in order to rebuild digital trust? And what role does the AFP play in rebuilding digital trust?
Well, basically, it starts with the people, no? So, common tao talaga yan. Ang misnomer kasi, cyber, pag sinabi, for lack of a better term, is tech. So, parang hindi naman ako IT, hindi naman ako tech. So, pag may nagsabing, meron kaming cybersecurity training, I'm not part of that because I'm not techie, diba? But that's not the case. Now, if you have a phone, you connect to the internet, you're part of cybersecurity in general. Because if everyone learns how to be to control how they use their gadgets, no, pag mapanuri tayo collectively, parang lahat ng Pilipino, we are very wary of how we protect ourselves in the cyber domain. Collectively, we form that barrier. Kasi in Pilipino, distinct tayo eh. We're all over the world. No? So hindi tayo nandito lang lahat sa Pilipinas.
Yeah.
So our OFWs, they're in another country, and they send yung hard-earned money nila dito sa Pilipinas. So parang may connection tayo all over the globe no, sa cyber. So sila din yung nagiging victims of attacks because nagpapadala nga sila ng remittances no? So, yun, yung Cyber for Peace natin, nag-reach out din tayo with our DFA counterparts. Tapos, mayroon tayong mga online cyber hygiene trainings na ang target natin are OFWs na, as easy as don't click suspicious links, 'di ba? Yung mga ganyan. Tapos maging mapanuri tayo sa mga social engineering attacks. In Tagalog, it's like budol-budol, no? 'Di ba? Tatawag sa iyo and then magpapanggap na kung ano. Those are all part of this vectors of attacks. So, if mapanuri ang taong bayan, it's a simple cascading, no, na maging maingat sila.
You mentioned a couple of threats kanina, no? What do you think is the biggest cyber threat or the most urgent cyber threat that the Philippines is facing right now?
For me, yung fake news. Kasi pag lumabas siya, no, the disinformation, misinformation, and malinformation, all of these three are fake news. It plays with the mind. So it's as simple as putting out there something that's wrong, but gives a notion, and then nahahati-hati yung pananaw natin. And in that, yung unity natin wala na no? So that's one that's really something that we really have to look into. But yun nga how to counter this. Napakalaki niyang it's a Herculean feat, so to speak.
Where can we start? How can you start battling fake news, especially leveraging on tech?
Yes, basically that's cyber hygiene, no?
Yeah.
So if we tell the people na talagang ang paniwalaan nyo are legitimate sites, and we'll have like more fact checkers out there, no? So yung mga ganon. So it's that how we cascade it to the common tao, na hindi lahat ng nababasa nyo, napapanood nyo are true, no? And yun nga, kasi dun tayo magkakawatak-watak because the perceptions vary because of what they see and what they read.
Meron pa kayong mga go-to fact-checking websites? Kasi ano ka may mga ganun so you said that that's part of cyber hygiene is really verifying whether or not news is fake, no? Would you happen to have any resources that you use frequently that you could recommend to Filipinos to check if news is fake or not?
Basically sa amin hindi yung legitimate sites.
Okay.
No? So as long as you read that from a legitimate site, then most probably yun yung tama.
Okay.
No? So yun pa lang makikita mo na kung saan nyo ba nakuha yan, sino ba nagsabi niyan. So may mga ganon. So kami naman for our Tuesday press briefings, we really give updates to the Filipino people kung may nakikita kaming ganyan, may maling sinasabi against the AFP and all those things. And also for all of the engagements that we have, we really teach this for cyber hygiene, no? So may mga iba't ibang perceptions talaga na nalalabas, but of course you have to take the source. Yun yung pinaka legitimacy ng anything that you see.
Do you think that Filipinos have difficulties discerning kung authentic yung site?
Yes, no? And talagang target din ng Pilipino. Kasi dati we used to be the text capital of the world.
That's
Now,
right.
the Filipino is tayo yung pinaka malaking presence in social media. Kaya nga 'di ba yung mga influencers, they try to get to the Filipino market, so to speak, kasi ang laki ng viewership natin 110 million Filipinos, kahit na portion lang 'yan makuha mo, 'di ba? So kaya nga 'di ba pag may botohan ng Miss Universe na nanalo tayo with the text votes and all,
diba?
no?
Nung kay Pia, 'di ba, nag-crash ata yung Miss Universe website or something, 'di ba?
Yes.
dahil sa dami ng boto.
So but we have to leverage this to our advantage, 'di ba? So if ang taong bayan, we have the same voice, we're united with what we believe. Napakalaking napakalaking tulong 'yon, lalo na sa ating national security concern.
And of course, isa sa mga concerns na mga hackers, 'di ba? But you are a certified ethical hacker. Now, as a certified ethical hacker, is there anything that surprised you sa mga findings mo? What is the most surprising thing that you discovered in your work as a certified ethical hacker?
Well, basically, talagang practically like anyone can really be vulnerable. So, yung mga attack vectors doon, talagang nagbabago rin sila. They play on psychology, possibility of you really clicking a link. Sometimes it's just that easy. Na yung mga tao na akala mo hindi sila mabibiktima, sometimes they tend to be victims as well. So you have to take into consideration the emotions behind. So usually the attacks are appeal to emotions. So 'di ba like the love virus,
Fallacy yan.
'di ba? Pag sinabing love letter for you, 'di ba parang may nagmamahal sa akin, so you tend to click that link. Or the emotion of fear, no? Parang if you don't click this within the next few minutes or so, we'll block your account. 'Di ba? So wala ka ng chance na mag-verify kung legit ba ito. Tendency mo, i-click mo yung link. So, ganun siya. So,
that's right.
kailangan...
Urgency dyan eh.
Yeah,
diba?
so may exigency nga doon sa situation. So, yun yung mga pinapaalam natin, to everyone we speak to. Para nga talagang, teka, level your thinking muna. And then, you have to think straight. Kumbaga, tatawag ka muna. May tumawag sa akin, may nag-send sa akin. Kasi ikaw ba to? Diba? Yung mga ganon.
Oo. Tama. Yung verification din natin.
Yes, how do we verify?
Presence of mind din natin. And speaking of cybersecurity, the Armed Forces of the Philippines has officially recognized cybersecurity as the 4th domain of operations. So, from your vantage point in the AFP, Colonel, how has technology transformed the way that nations defend themselves today?
Well, yun nga, along with land, air, and sea, now we have the cyber,
Yes.
The contemporary new challenges are evolving, So, there's already attacks that are happening in the cyber domain. But, eto kasing mga attacks natin, different motives from different actors, so different attackers. So, meron tayong script kiddies, those are just the ones trying to test their skill sets, bago pa lang. But ang pinaka malaking threat, especially with the geopolitical tensions that we're facing, are nation-state actors. So, ginagamit na siya ngayon as a type of attack from talagang a bigger adversary. So, this is something that you really have to look into, and what types of attacks are being used for this. So, it ranges from the fake news that's coming out to bigger attacks, So, maraming iba't ibang ways of this being done. So, ang sabi ko nga, one way is to fortify our systems altogether, but the AFP cannot do it alone because yung cyber sobrang lawak niya, buong bansa siya, So, we have to look into best practices of other entities. Ang maganda din dito, we have to leverage on the experience of other countries na nauna sa atin. So, we have yung sa Estonia, They had a cyber attack na malakihan. How they got up from that, and then they created a Talinn manual. So, it's like the Bible of cybersecurity. So, hindi na tayo kailangan mag-reinvent ng wheel because there are already other practices, best practices from other entities na pwede nating ma-leverage to our advantage as well.
What was that resource again, Colonel? Yung Bible of cybersecurity?
Talinn manual.
Talinn manual. Okay. And that is readily available online?
Yes, it's readily available.
So if you were to Google Talinn manual right now, yun yung lahat ng guidelines na kailangan mo for cybersecurity, covered all bases.
Pwede, and then you tweak it to your own setting.
Galing. Comment down below if you've already checked out Talinn manual. We should link that as well. Now, Colonel, you're really decorated as a speaker and, of course, in the AFP. Now, someone recognized as an epic woman in cyber, how do you see the role of women evolving in the tech defense space?
Well, they said that it's a male-dominated world, but now, with the younger generations, are very techy. At a very young age, di ba? May iPads na sila, they already have gadgets. So, hindi na ganun kalaki yung learning curve ng mga younger generations natin. And, of course, STEM is very open now to women joining, girls. So, there's a group that I have joined then, yung DIWA, Digital Innovation for Women Advancement. So, yung girls dito, talagang nagre-reach out itong grupong to sa mga schools and universities to entice more girls to join in the tech field. So, malawak yung possibilities dito sa technology. And tulong-tulong ito. It's not about gender, but it's what you can contribute to the table. So, yun. If we can now leverage with AI, di ba? Ngayon, the younger generations, AI there's anything, basta may bright idea ka and how it's gonna be used, pwede mo siyang magamit. So, yun yung tinitignan natin. So, we're looking at the collaboration of all of different entities, government, non-government, military, and security sector, and of course, yung ating commerce and business sector. If we have a secured country, we have a secured economy then, no? So, magpo-prosper tayo, nandiyan yung progress, no? And that security exudes to the cyber domain as well.
Okay, so Colonel, as the first female spokesperson of the AFP in 88 years, and also someone recognized as an epic woman in cyber, for all of the ladies who are looking up to you right now and who would like to follow your footsteps, do you have a message for them?
Well, basically, if you are a woman, a girl, and you have to look at the possibility of you having a seat at the table, because you have something to offer that is different and distinct. No, if they don't offer you a seat, bring your own chair.
I like that.
So it's not about breaking glass ceilings, but smashing it and going out there and fulfilling your dreams. So ako, hindi ko din na-imagine how. I do not claim to be a success story because, of course, iba-iba naman yung definition natin ng success. But for me, my greatest success is how I was able to raise my kids as a solo parent, how they are now, no? And sila yung pinaka-trophies ko eh. So, really, for me now at this point, I also want to be a mentor to young girls out there. I'm very open to share how I was able to break barriers throughout my career. Of course, there were a lot of challenges along the way. Minsan kasi nakikita lang natin is the silver lining and we don't see what the clouds have been, no, sa buhay ng tao. But it's how you overcome. There will always be challenges, but it's how you stand up to it, no, from it, no. So, yun. Wag lang silang matakot na i-pursue kung ano yung gusto nila, and they'll eventually get there as long as they find also a very good support system for them.
I love it. And I just want to circle back to that. If they don't give you a seat, bring your own chair. I love it. Palakpakan naman si Colonel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Colonel, for sharing your wisdom today. And we hope to see more of you in this podcast.
Thank you, Justin. I really enjoyed our talk as well.
And there you have it. What a way to wrap up this episode. We hope that we inspire more Filipinos to break barriers and claim their own seat at the table as well. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was an absolute honor also to be joined by the epic woman in cyber, Colonel Padilla. Malapakan naman natin siya. Thank you so much, Colonel Padilla. We look forward to speaking with you again. Congratulations on everything. And thank you, dear viewer, for joining us today. See ya.